Have you ever stumbled across one of those products that promises you more than just a piece of software? You know, the ones that claim to be a complete business in a box? Well, today we're going to go under the hood of one of them, SEOPilot, and deconstruct exactly how they build their argument step by step. Let's dive in.
So right out of the gate, they hit you with this huge, almost unbelievable question. A $27 tool, could that really be the engine for a $2,000 service? I mean, come on. That's the hook. That's the core promise, and we're about to unpack exactly how they try to make you believe it.
And the whole thing is boiled down to these three simple words: audit, fix, invoice. See how simple that sounds? It's a repeatable formula that just screams speed and profitability. This is the roadmap for their entire argument.
Now, every great sales pitch has to start with a problem, but the best pitches, they start with a problem you didn't even realize you had. And that's the foundation here, this idea that basically every website out there is secretly broken in some invisible technical way.
And this is where it gets really smart. They don't just say, your website has issues. They make the problem feel real and technical. They use terms like missing canonical tags or broken heading hierarchy. If you're a small business owner, you have no idea what that means, but it sounds really bad, right? It immediately creates this need for an expert.
And just as you're starting to wrap your head around that problem, they hit you with this: a dramatic pause, a pivot in the story. This one little sentence is designed to build suspense and let you know the stakes are about to get way, way higher.
And here it is, the escalation. See, this isn't just about your classic Google rankings anymore. There's a new player in town, a new technology that makes all those little hidden flaws more dangerous than ever. This is how they inject a massive dose of urgency into the problem.
So what is this big game changer? It's AI search. You know, when you ask a question and instead of getting a list of links, you get a direct answer. The AI just tells you the best restaurant or plumber. It picks a winner, which means everyone else becomes invisible. And here is the punch to the gut. They connect the two ideas. All those little technical errors we just talked about, well, those are the exact things that make a website invisible to this new AI. So the problem isn't just that your site is a little messy. It's that it's about to be completely erased from the future of the internet.
So, after they've painted this picture of a huge problem and then made it 10 times scarier with an urgent, modern threat, in comes the hero of the story, the product itself. It's positioned perfectly as the only real answer to the crisis they just created.
So how is this tool different? Well, they call this the unfair advantage. They say, look, all those other expensive tools, sure, they can find the problems, but what do they do about them? Nothing. But this tool, it finds and it fixes. That single check mark in the Fix Issues column, that is the entire basis for their unique value.
And this quote just hammers the point home. It's about reframing the value. You're not just a consultant who points out what's wrong. No, you're the hero who actually fixes it. It's the difference between telling someone their house is on fire and actually being the firefighter who puts it out. One of those gets paid a lot more.
Okay, so we get what the tool does. It finds and it fixes. But how do you turn that into a real business? Well, this next part of the pitch is all about packaging that function into a super simple, sellable service.
And there's our formula again: audit, fix, invoice. Only now, it's got a fancy name, the $500 client process. And look how they frame each step. You uncover errors in minutes. You use one-click tools to fix everything, and you justify the bill with a report the software makes for you. The whole thing is designed to sound almost foolproof.
And to make this feel less like a theory and more like a real opportunity, they hit you with a case study. And they use this huge, incredibly specific number. Not a lot of problems, not hundreds, exactly 1,092. That specificity just makes it feel so much more real and valuable. I mean, who wouldn't pay good money to fix over 1,000 errors on their site?
But then comes the big contrast. You've got this mountain of over 1,000 problems. And how long does it take you to fix a huge chunk of them? Just 8 minutes. 8! The message is crystal clear. The tool does all the heavy lifting, and it does it at lightning speed.
And finally, the payoff. The three-part story is complete. A massive problem, 1,092 errors, solved in a ridiculously short amount of time, 8 minutes, for a really nice fee, $500. That right there, that sequence of numbers is the entire value proposition in a nutshell.
And they wrap up this section with this perfect summary. It's so direct, it crystallizes the whole message they've been building. You're not just buying a piece of software, you're buying a ready-made business model.
All right, so the final piece of the puzzle. They've built up all this potential value, they've shown you the business model, and now it's time for the grand finale. They bring it all back to the price, to frame it as an absolute no-brainer.
And boom, here's the knockout punch. This comparison table is just brutal. You see all these well-known, respected industry tools with their high recurring monthly or yearly fees, and they all have that big red X next to fixes issues. And then, way down at the bottom, there's SEOPilot. Check marks in both columns for a tiny one-time payment. The visual contrast is just designed to be overwhelming.
And they bring this powerful idea back to anchor the entire pitch. This is the key that unlocks the whole thing. It's how you justify making $500 for 8 minutes of work. It's not about the time you put in. It's about the value of the problem you solved. They're selling you a mindset just as much as they're selling you software.
And so we end right back where we started, with a question. But notice the subtle shift. They're not asking if it's possible anymore. Now they're asking you, personally, if you're ready to grab it. The entire complex pitch is distilled down into this one super tempting thought, that a brand new side hustle could be just a single click away. It's a powerful idea to leave you with.